Development meeting. It is January 9th, 2025. The time is 10 a.m. In attendance are Commissioners Matari and Duncan. We expect Commissioner Brooks by Zoom any minute. There are no opening remarks. Are there changes to the agenda? Hearing none. Conflicts of interest?
None.
None as well. We actually, I think, ended the public hearing, and we're in deliberations for ORA 24-0010, Building Code Ordinance Update. And I don't know, do you want to start us off, or I can?
Commissioners, as I recall, you had a few questions, but I believe you've had those answered by our Chief Building Official.
Yep.
Was there anything else we could help you with before you go to work on this?
No, I'm fine with it, but I know the source now, and so I will go to the source for the next set of changes.
Understood.
So, yeah. So this is deliberation, so ready to take a motion?
To enter into deliberations?
No, I'm ready to approve.
Yeah. I just have a question about the sleeping unit thing and bedrooms and stuff. Can you just kind of go over the difference on that again, if there is one?
What page?
Provides Christina the
13, I think?
kind of the new definition.
No, 5.
5.
Wait, hold on. 13.
Okay.
Christina knows it.
Christina Garland, for the record, Community Chief Building Official. So the definition for sleeping unit has arisen because there is no definition in the building code. So we had decided to add some information indicating what a sleeping room is, opposed to, say, a rec room or an office. So these rooms, if we have areas where there is a full kitchen, full sanitary facilities, meaning there's a bathroom, a shower or tub, and we have a room that can be used for sleeping, then it would be considered a sleeping room.
But doesn't a room where, like, okay, so there's places where people fall asleep on their couch in front of the TV, right?
Right.
And then there's people who have beds in a specific room.
Right.
And typically those rooms have a second egress.
Correct.
They have a fire alarm.
Right.
Right.
They have smoke alarm. Mm-hmm.
So does that include this?
That does include sleeping rooms required to have an egress window and
Okay.
a smoke detector, and a smoke detector outside of that room also.
Okay, so it that's part of the definition.
Yes. Yes.
Got it. Okay. All right. I just sometimes the definitions aren't super clear. So
Right.
yeah. Okay.
Bill, did you have any questions on what we're approving this morning?
I really don't. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I move that we approve ORA 24-0010 Building Code Ordinance Update.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Matari,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, that concludes our deliberations, and on to our business item, which is a Maritime Operations Interim Ordinance. And David or Ben?
Both.
Okay.
I'll lead off and Ben can help you with all the details. The big picture part of this is our current code doesn't address this use and needs to, but as we have looked into it as a staff, we've discovered that it probably would be good planning practice to just go ahead and address some broader issues so that we do everything all at once and get it over with. It's more efficient, more effective. We don't have to go back for multiple ordinances that way. But, Ben will drill down in the details. If there's parts of this you want to tease out now and just get it done with, we can do that too.
Okay.
Ben?
Yeah, we started with this marine service business operation, and that was kind of the first focus. But then, like David mentioned, there are other uses that are waterfront, that are commercially oriented, that are just not addressed in our code, such as like a marina or even like a recreational boat launch facility. We don't have either one of those types of uses addressed. And so since we were kind of, thinking this direction, we thought it may be appropriate to just add those uses as well. But again, when you add more things, we have to think about more things, and so it just takes more time. We do have some ideas together, but we're not ready for an official draft yet to be discussed. So that's just kind of what the current progress is at the moment. But yeah, whatever your guys' preference would be for staff on how to move forward, certainly appreciate some direction there.
If there was a sense of urgency of some piece of this, we could carve that out and go forward with that.
Yeah, I think the sense of urgency is the marine service piece. So there's some changes going on in some business owners who are wanting to make some changes, and they're not really able to because of our lack of addressing in the code. So that would be the only one that I would think would be a little bit more urgent than the other businesses, because we're not shutting anyone down, we're not preventing anything, we're not harming anything, but the changes with two different owners, I think is part of that. You have thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, right now, we're just having an abstract discussion because there's no documents in front of us.
Right,
And all the
correct.
devil's in the details. So until we get to see something, it sounds like a good idea that we should have something to address these issues.
So I would say then our next CD meeting, if you would have a draft of the Maritime service or the,
Sure. Yeah, and I think, a little more long-term too, is that if we're wanting more attention to be placed on that, the public will be able to focus their attention too on that one item rather than the other ones too that could perhaps drag it out. So that might be worthwhile.
Could I ask a favor, though? That you include kind of the overarching discussion, and then you can focus on what part you want to focus on first, because what I've noticed is that we end up being handed trees and not really knowing how the forest is going to look. So we can see how that fits into the overall scheme of things. I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, okay.
I think we can handle that.
And then you would still prefer the interim ordinance route, just so that we have an
For
idea.
Expediency.
yeah, I think so, for just this one item, and then we can address the other trees in the forest
Yeah.
as things move on.
Okay.
Fair enough.
So,
Okay, that helps.
Bill, I'll ask you your thoughts on that, and if you have any closing remarks for your last community development meeting.
I really don't. I think there's something that needs to be addressed, but I don't think that we can do it in a cliche sort of way. I think we want to be careful about new ordinances and what their impact is down the road. I've enjoyed working with the commissioners, my fellow commissioners. Sometimes we've agreed and sometimes we haven't. I always enjoy working with David because I always agree with him. Right, David?
Well, thank you so very much, Bill.
Well, it's been a pleasure. I'll leave it at that.
All right, with that, 10:09, meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Oh,
Commissioner.
thank you.